Live on YouTube, going live on Rumble. Good afternoon, welcome to This Date in History, aka TDH. I'm Xander. We might be joined by the Golden Loot at some point today. And of course, you. Today is, what is today? Thursday, aka Thursday, April 9th, 2026. Let's get into this show is about interesting and important events that have, this show is about interesting and important events that happened today throughout the annals of recorded history, starting with the year 193. Septimius Severus was proclaimed Roman Emperor by the army of Illyricum. The distinguished soldier Septimius Severus was proclaimed Emperor by the army of Illyricum. 475, Byzantine Emperor Basilicus issued a circular letter called the Encyclicon to the bishops of his empire, supporting the monophysite Christological position. What is a circular letter, though? Like, it's is that a letter that goes around like a chain letter type thing? So, circular letter or a circular may refer to circular text broadly disseminated. Why can't I read that? For the members of a service, of an enterprise, or of an administration. Circular letter, interlingua. An early interlingua publication, circular letter or encyclical, a letter written by a bishop and addressed to his clergy. We talk about encyclicals all the time. So let's add this to the underbar section right here, circular letter. So if you want to read this or look at that or any other articles that we may grab throughout today's show, the description, the underbar section, we'll have that after the live stream. Moving on up to 537, Siege of Rome. The Byzantine general Belisarius received his promised reinforcements, 1,600 cavalry, mostly of Hunnic or Slavic origin, and expert bowmen. Despite the shortages, he started raids against the Gothic camps and Vitiges, Burr, but was forced into a stalemate. Oh yeah, not Burr, but camps and Vitiges. What's a Vitiges? Let's look that up here really quick too. Oh, let's see here. Vitiges. Okay, it's a coin. Oh. Okay, well, this says it's the guy's name. He was the king of the Italian Ostrogoths. So I guess he raided that guy's lands as well? I don't know. Anyway, origin. There we go. 817, Louis the Pious, the king of the Franks, barely survived when a wooden gallery collapsed in Achaeon, prompting him to later name his succession. Yeah, that would do it. 1241, Battle of Jenkins, Mongolian armies inflicted one of the largest defeats in Polish history on Polish and German forces led by Henry of Silesia, with between 20,000 to 25,000 killed or massacred, including Henry himself. Wow. 1388, Battle of Nefels, Galerius Swiss defeated Habsburg Austrian army. The Swiss canton of Galerius and its allied Old Swiss Confederation defeated the Habsburg forces of the Duchy of Austria, despite being outnumbered 16 to 1. Wow. 1438, the Council of Ferrara began with its first session in presence of the Patriarch of Constantinople, representatives of the Patriarchal Sees of Antioch, Alexandria, and Jerusalem, as well as Pope Eugene IV presiding. That's a lot of stuff happening right there. Territories of the five patriarchs in 381 AD. We have Rome, Constantinople, Antioch, Jerusalem, and Alexandria. It says here, though, the Bishop of Constantinople, however, shall have the prerogative of honor after the Bishop of Rome, because Constantinople is New Rome. All right. Moving on up here, 1474, British land guardian Peter van Hagenbach threw out Walloon and Italians. Why and who were the Walloon? 1483, Edward V, aged 12, succeeded his father, Edward IV, as King of England. He was never crowned and disappeared, being presumed murdered after incarceration in the Tower of London with his younger brother Richard, the princess in the tower. Or the princes in the tower, multiple. 1511, resettled Shiite Muslims rose up in the Shakalu rebellion under the leadership of Shakalu against the Ottoman Empire. 1595, Spanish Mendaña and Quiros expedition departed Callao, Peru, led by Alvaro de Mendan, accompanied by 378 men, women, and children in 4 ships to colonize the Solomon Islands, although they founded the Marquesas instead. 1609, Spain and the Netherlands signed a 12-year resistance pact. During the 80 Years' War, Spain and the Dutch Republic signed the Treaty of Antwerp to initiate 12 years of truce. And we will be talking about that actually in exactly 12 years from now. Well, at least 12 years from here. 1609, Philip III of Spain issued the decree of the expulsion of the Moriscos. 1621, Spain and the Netherlands' 12-year resistance pact ended. There you go, right there. 1682, French explorer René Robert Cavelier, Sierra de la Salle, claimed Lower Mississippi, or Louisiana, for France. In the other source, it says Robert Cavelier de la Salle discovered the mouth of the Mississippi River, claiming it for France and naming it Louisiana. 1600, moving on up to 1700s. Here's 31. British mariner Robert Jenkins' ear was cut off by Spanish guard Costa in the Caribbean, the catalyst for a later war between Britain and Spain, also known as the War of Jenkins' Ear. We'll get to that here in a minute, but let's see here. Right there. All right. There's several images here actually, and I'll actually leave a link there for the underbar section. But first, I have here several years earlier, Spanish sailors were said to have cut off the ear of Robert Jenkins, a British seaman, to serve as a warning to British ship captains smuggling goods off the Florida coast. Ooh. And here, yeah, here's this guy coming at him with his ear cutter extraordinaire. But let's see here. What is, can I get a bigger image of it? There we go. The War of Jenkins' Ear was a conflict that lasted between 1739 to 1748, so that's 9 years. This war was sparked when the British wanted land that Spain held in the New World. To justify this war, Britain said that she wanted to avenge one of her sailors who had his ear cut off by the Spanish in 1731. During the war, the British colony of Georgia was threatened by Spanish forces in Florida. In the end, the war resulted in a fat lot of nothing for neither Britain nor Spain, except for some guy losing his ear. That happened before the war even, so yeah. 1768, John Hancock refused to allow 2 British customs agents to go below deck of his ship, considered by some to be the first act of physical resistance to British authority in the colonies. 1784, Great Britain ratified the Treaty of Paris, which was signed on September 3rd in 1783, ending the American Revolutionary War. All right. Yeah, the Treaty of Paris, ratified by the United States Congress on January 14, 1784, was ratified by King George III of the Kingdom of Great Britain, ending the American Revolutionary War. Copies of the ratified documents were exchanged on May 12, 1784. So this is the official birth date of the United States of America. It is now like documented, signed, notarized, done deal. You know, and even like the Declaration of Independence thing. Well, that was all done like a month or so before the 4th of July. That was just when we declared it. So 1829, Danzig Gdansk dike broke flood, killing 1,200 people. 1883, we have the first U.S. tax-supported public library in Peterborough, New Hampshire. 5 years later, UK National Gallery reopened in its new dedicated building in Trafalgar Square, London. I've had a lifelong dream of wanting to go to Trafalgar Square and just throw rice all over the place, because I know exactly what will that do to the pigeons. 1838 here, we got that one, 1860. Edward Leon Scott de Martinville used his phonograph to make a 10-second recording of Au clair de la lune, the first known recording of an audible human voice. And I'm actually going to play that. Oh yeah, here's a document that officiated the United States of America. So that's the one of the billions of treaties of Paris. So, but here's the actual thing there. Interesting noises. Yeah, that second part is not it, but yeah, it's very, very scuffed. But you know, I mean, what do you expect from the oldest known recording of the human voice? 1864, Battle of Pleasant Hill, Louisiana. Confederate assault repulsed by Union side with high cost of estimated 3,100 casualties. While that was going on, Union surgeon Mary Edwards Walker was captured by Confederate troops and arrested as a spy during the U.S. Civil War. I wonder if anything happened to them. 1 year later, this is a big one, Confederate General Robert E. Lee and 26,765 troops surrendered at Appomattox Courthouse to U.S. Lieutenant General... Okay, why am I trying to say Louisiana so hard? To U.S. Lieutenant General Ulysses S. Grant, ending the Civil War with North Virginia. Yep, Robert E. Lee surrendered the entire Army of Northern Virginia, which was 26,765 troops, to Ulysses S. Grant at the courthouse there. 1866, Civil Rights Bill passed over President Andrew Johnson's veto. 69, Hudson Bay Company ceded its territory to Canada. 1 year after that, the American Anti-Slavery Society dissolved. Wait, oh yeah, I guess that'd be good because like they're no longer needed. Slavery is gone. So you know, by 1870, 1872, Samuel R. Percy patented dried milk. Oh yeah, and here's an image of Lee surrendering to Grant there. So, and here's some dried milk. So let's take a look at that really quick. This is the there's some text images that I want to read to you out really quick. It says here. The prevention of the destruction of the destructive chemical change by bringing a fluid into a state of minute division. Interesting. So what is this? Oh, is that? Can I get a bigger version of that? No, I can't. So that's what I wanted to read, but it looks like I'm not going to be able to. What is the cooperative psychological and therapeutic action of free phosphorus and the hydrophosphites, an essay to which, okay, that's something else entirely. Moving on up, what else do we got here? 1896, Greek shooter Pantelis Karasavidis scored a perfect 40 hits to win the military rifle event at the Athens Olympics. Greek 1-2-3 with Pavalos Pavlidis and Nikolaos Trikopius taking out the minor placings. 1909, the U.S. Congress passed the Payne-Aldrich Bill, the Tariff Act, raising certain tariffs on goods entering the United States. 1910, first recorded sighting in 1910 of Halley's Comet, seen in Gore, New Zealand. 1914, World, the Flesh and the Devil, first color film shown in London. 14 as well, Tampico incident, U.S. ship crew arrested in Mexico. It's telling me to look that up here really quick, so I'm going to do that. Let's see here. So, the Tampico affair, and there was a thing earlier that I meant to get an article of, but I overlooked that. So, the Tampico affair began as a miser incident involving United States Navy sailors and the Mexican Federal Army loyal to Mexican dictator General Victoriano Huerta. All right, so yeah, that would cause it. So let's see here. This is called the Tampico affair. So let's add that there. Moving on here, 1940 as well, U.S. President Woodrow Wilson refused to recognize Victoriano Huerta as president of Mexico on the ground that the dictator had not been elected by the people. Exactly. 1916, well, you know, you're one to talk, Wilson. You were probably selected yourself. 1916, the Libau set sail from Germany with a cargo of 20,000 rifles to assist Irish Republicans. Captain Carl Spindler changed the name of the vessel to the Aude to avoid British detection. And good old trick there. 1923, in Adkins versus Children's Hospital, the U.S. Supreme Court found that the minimum wage law for women and children adopted by the District of Columbia was unconstitutional. I wonder what that entailed. 25, at the height of his fame, Babe Ruth was rushed to a hospital with a mysterious condition labeled the bellyache heard round the world. Ruth reported dead by some newspapers. Wow. So, they I guess they really wanted him to die so they can get the publicity. You know, like, what's with the media and always jumping immediately? Oh, he stubbed his toe. Oh, he's dead. 1928, Turkey passed separation of church and state. That's good. 1932, German banking regulator Hans Luther was shot and suffered a shoulder wound at the Potsdam, Germany train station by an assailant who disliked his fiscal policies. Wow. Hey, we're finally getting joined by the loon.
Hey.
Yeah.
How goes it?
Well, you've missed a lot. You missed the forming of the United States, the end of the Civil War, and a handful, a few others that I can't really. You've missed a substantial amount. I'm actually really heartbroken that you weren't here when it happened. So, oh well. Anyway, 1932 Stanley Cup Final, Maple Leaf Gardens, Toronto, Ontario. Toronto Maple Leafs defeated the New York Rangers 6-4 for 3-0 series sweep. Toronto's first SC as the Maple Leafs Stanley Cup. So yeah. 35 as well, Stanley Cup Final, Montreal 4, Montreal, Quebec. Montreal Maroons defeated Toronto Maple Leafs 4-1 for a 3-0 series sweep. Maroons' last defunct team to win the cup. 37, the Kamikaze arrived at Croydon Airport in London. It was the first Japanese-built aircraft to fly to Europe. And here's a photo of it. So, and
that's a cool photo.
Yeah, what's interesting though, because Kamikaze, I think in Japan, in Japanese means divine wind or something. So, and it's interesting. Just about 5 some odd years after this, they're going to be flying planes into our ships under the same name there.
I wonder how the names got crossed over like that.
Well, no, because that's in Japan. Kamikaze means divine wind. That's what that word means in their language. Like Deutschland.
Yeah, but how did that become?
Because
weapons to us, we call them a kamikaze.
Well, that's what they labeled that program as. It was the kamikaze program. The pilots were the divine wind, sacrificing themselves in honor of the Japanese emperor.
Okay.
Laying down their lives. They are the divine wind.
Okay, I got it.
Yeah. 1939, U.S. Contralto Marian Anderson sing before 75,000 people at the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. The appearance was organized after Anderson was denied permission to sing to an integrated audience in Constitution Hall because she was black, and she was denied entry to the Constitution Hall by the Daughters of the American Revolution.
Great.
What a terrible thing. That's disgusting.
Yeah.
1940, German cruiser Blucher torpedoed and capsized in Olsfjord. 1,000 died. 40 as well, Nazi Germany invaded Denmark and Norway, and Denmark surrendered after a 6-hour battle. At least they stood their ground. So, it said here, Vidkun Quisling seized power in Norway. So that must have been after the Norwegian government ran away and everything. 41, LPGA title holders championship women's golf, Augusta Country Club. Dorothy Kirby won comfortably by 16 strokes ahead of Helen Siegel. That's several holes.
Yeah, strokes, not holes.
I know strokes. 16 strokes equals several holes, if you count pars. Right?
Well.
Okay, let's say hole 5 is par 7. Okay? And then hole 6 is par 7. Well, that's still 14 strokes if you make it in par on both of them precisely.
But she won by 16 strokes.
Yes.
So it doesn't matter. She may hit par and the next second place on that particular hole hit bogey. That means you're up a stroke.
What I'm saying is the amount of strokes she won by is equivalent to a couple of entire holes par.
Played, you mean? Par. Okay, yeah.
Am I not making any sense?
It's a weird way to look at it, I guess. But if you're figuring all holes are par 4, then it's 3 holes.
Well, I'm not figuring. Okay, I'm not figuring all of the holes are par 4. What I'm saying is, every hole has a par. Correct.
Correct.
Okay. Now, a par is not over 16 strokes per hole. Correct.
Of course not.
Okay. So her 16 strokes ahead is the equivalent of being in front of her by an entire several holes on their par.
That makes no sense to me.
Okay. 41, PG established Golf Hall of Fame. All right. Okay. 41, note 42, Battle of Bataan. U.S. Filipino forces overwhelmed by Japanese at Bataan, and the Bataan Death March began. 42, during World War II, an Indian Ocean raid by Japan's first air fleet sunk the British aircraft carrier HMS Hermes and the Australian destroyer HMAS Vampire. So we got another British aircraft carrier sunk. Didn't we cover one sunk yesterday?
Yes.
Yeah. 44, Pope Pius XII published encyclical...
But that was World War I, if I'm not mistaken.
That was 2.
Yesterday.
Yesterday was 2.
What? Okay.
You know, there were no aircraft carriers in World War One.
Well, it was an unusual deal or something. I forgot.
No, the first aircraft carrier was well after World War One.
It had to be, yeah.
Wait, hold on a second. When was, see here, first aircraft carrier? Is the let's see here.
What's his name? They pilled it on top.
Yeah. Well, the first aircraft carrier was the French Fourdieu, commissioned in 1911, and the first naval-launched air raids were conducted by the Japanese. Of course, the Japanese. Where was it? Japanese. These are balloon carriers. Somehow. Yeah, anyway, moving on up. What else do we got here? 1940. Oh, yeah, I wanted to look up this encyclical really quick here. Orientalis Ecclesiae is an encyclical issued by Pope Pius XII. We got that one. It celebrates the life and work of St. Cyril, Patriarch of Alexandria, on the occasion of the 15th century of his death, marking both a continuation of the Pope's posture to Eastern Christianity that was initiated by Leo XIII. Alright, so if you want to learn more about this encyclical, I'm going to add this in the underbar section here really quick. Moving on up, what else do we got here? Taskbar that. 1945, Liberty ship at Bari, Italy, carrying aerial bombs exploded, killing 360. 45 as well, NFL required players to wear long stockings. We also have Dietrich Bonhoeffer, Lutheran pastor and anti-Nazi dissident, was executed by the Nazi regime. The United States Atomic Energy Commission was formed. We have lose time here in 46. About 500 postal workers in Tel Aviv and Jaffa went on strike. Want to know why, for how long? 47, Atomic Energy Commission was confirmed. In 47 as well, Baseball Commissioner Happy Chandler suspended Brooklyn Dodger Leo Durocher for 1 year for, quote, association with known gamblers, end quotes.
Ooh, I never
so
heard that.
so just even associating with them.
Oh, yeah, nothing. You can't.
I find that has to, like, infringe on rights somehow, somewhere. You know, because, like, if you can't, like, you know, if your friend starts gambling on sports, that suddenly makes you at risk of having your job hurt. That's bullshit. You have no, you know, power over your friend. That's bullshit.
Stop associating with them.
Well, that's unfair. That's completely unfair.
You'd be right if you were talking about out in the public domain. This is a private enterprise protecting its image. They have every right to do that.
Well, to me, that makes its image look even worse because now it's playing that stupid game, me or you. You know, like, you know, playing choosies. That's bullshit. So, 47, tornadoes striking West Texas and Oklahoma killed 169 people, injuring 1,300 more. And the other source says 181 people, and with an injury of 970. So, in between Texas, Oklahoma, and Kansas. 47, the Journey of Reconciliation, the first interracial freedom ride, began through the Upper South in violation of Jim Crow laws. The riders wanted enforcement of the United States Supreme Court's 46 Irene Morgan decision that banned racial segregation in interstate travel. Here's an image of that. All these people hanging out with their signs and everything. And, you know, like, when did they stop making buses like this with these windows? Those are such cool windows. Like,
what are windows like now?
Well,
they go up, right?
I don't even think, like, they just have like a very, very thin slit at the top, and they just open up a little bit like that. Like, it's all just solid glass. Like, there is no up, down, or any of that. 47, United Nations Security Council Resolution 22 relating to Corfu Channel incident was adopted. Want to know what that entails? 48, massacre at Deir Yassin. Fighters from the Irgun and Lady Zionist terror groups attacked Deir Yassin near Jerusalem, killing over 100 Palestinians. Yeah. 48, Georgie Leclerc Gaetan's assassination provoked a violent riot in Bogota, the Bogotazao, and a further 10 years of violence in Colombia. 1 year after that, 49, the UN International Court of Justice held Albania responsible for incidents in Corfu Channel and awarded Britain damages. 1950, Bob Hope's first TV appearance.
Oh.
And here he is, I believe.
Yeah, that is him.
Yeah. 52, Hugo Bolivian's government was overthrown by the Bolivian National Revolution, starting a period of agrarian reform, universal suffrage, and the nationalization of tin mines. All right. 1957, the Suez Canal in Egypt was cleared and opened to shipping following the Suez Crisis. 59, 13th NBA Championship, Boston Celtics sweep Minnesota Lakers for 4 games. First of Boston Celtics record 8 straight titles. 59, Bill Sharman hit an NBA record 56 consecutive foul shot. We also have NASA, also known for Never a Straight Answer, was named their first 7 astronauts for Project Mercury. It says here, the news media quickly dubbed them the Mercury 7. And do you know what NASA means in Hebrew?
You told me and I've already forgotten.
To deceive.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. 1960, South African Prime Minister Hendrik Verwoerd survived an assassination attempt by David Pratt despite being shot twice in the face. Twice in the face. So, and that's really wild because this guy, Dr. Hendrik Verwoerd, Prime Minister of South Africa and architect of apartheid. So if anybody deserved to go, it would have been this guy. He'd be pretty high up on the list. He got shot twice in the face and lived. It's stuff like this that makes me wonder, like, why is God not paying attention? 62, 34th Academy Awards, West Side Story, Best Picture, Director, and 8 more. That's a lot of awards. Sophia Loren, 2 women, and Maximilian Schell, Judgment at Nuremberg, 1. U.S. President John F. Kennedy threw out the first ball at Washington's new D.C. Stadium. 63, Winston Churchill became the first honorary U.S. citizen.
Whoa.
Yeah. That's quite an accomplishment.
Wow.
Especially from a people who used to own us.
I wonder if there's been any other honorary citizens.
Well, let's see here. Put this back over there. Honorary.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Honorary U.S. citizen. Honorary citizen of the United States. Let's see here. Hold on.
Bless you.
Thank you. Man, I had to sneeze.
Kleenex?
Yeah. A person of exceptional merit who is not a United States citizen may be declared an honorary citizen of the United States by an act of Congress or by a proclamation by the U.S. President. I'm going to bigger this really quick so... it says here 8 people have been so honored.
Okay.
6 posthumously and 2 Sir Winston Churchill and Mother Teresa during their lifetimes. For the Marquis de Lafayette and Mother Teresa, the honor was proclaimed directly by an act of Congress. In other cases, an act of Congress was passed authorizing the president to grant honorary citizenship by proclamation. So I'm going to add this in the underbar section really quick.
Yeah, do that.
So, honorary U.S. citizen. But this makes you wonder, if you become an honorary U.S. citizen, can you run for office of the presidency?
Of course not.
But you're a citizen.
Honorary citizen.
But
you
still
can't vote either.
But, well, can you?
No.
Do you know that for a law?
No, I don't know it for absolute law, but it's an honor. You're honoring somebody. It's not practical everyday use.
Well, maybe. We have Winston Churchill, Raoul Wallenberg, William Penn, of Pennsylvania, Hannah Cowell Penn, must have been his wife, Mother Teresa, this guy who helped us, Kazimierz Pulaski, this guy. A lot of people don't know about this guy. Polish, he saved George Washington's ass, literally saved his life. If it wasn't for this guy, there would not be a United States. So thank you, Poland, for Mr. Pulaski here. And then Bernardo de Gavilares of Spain. All right. See also citizenship of the United States. So I just wonder. But anyone watching this, let us know in the comments section. If honorary citizen does or does not have the right to vote, can or cannot run for presidency, or any.
You can't. You weren't born here. That's the first thing. So you can't do that.
Well, I mean, there might be an exception. There are things in laws that contradict other things in laws, all the time. So maybe there's something there. Anyway, 1965, first baseball game at Houston Astrodome. Astros beat New York Yankees 2-1 in exhibition as Mickey Mantle hit MLB's first indoor home run. U.S. President Lyndon Johnson and wife Lady Bird attended. 1 year later, Anaheim Stadium for California Angels opened. And here it is.
There you go.
Yeah, look at all that festivities down there. 67 as well, the first Boeing 737-8-100 series made its maiden flight. And I'm going to image search that really quick. See? That's what it looks like right there. Really round.
Yeah.
Pill-like looking thing. That's back when you actually had leg room. Did you hear that that some airliners are starting to think about getting rid of having their cabin be pressurized?
What?
Yeah, like they're going to charge you a fee to use an oxygen mask.
Oh, man.
Otherwise, you'll just pass out and then they'll wake you up on the ground on the other side. 1968, German DR adopted Constitution, and Martin Luther King Jr. was buried in Atlanta. 1968, men's Wayne Connolly was first to score on the Stanley Cup penalty shot. In 69, we have the first flight of the Concorde 002, the Filton Bristol. It made its maiden flight from Filton to RAF Fairford with Brian Trubshaw as the test pilot. Oh, let's see here. You sound like you need to take a nap. Like, are you doing okay?
Yeah, I'm doing fair.
Okay.
I don't know how long I'm going to last. We'll see.
All right. Yeah. So here's the aircraft with the drip snoot and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So, 69 as well. Chicago Cub Billy Williams hit 4 consecutive doubles, defeating the Phillies 11-3 at Wrigley Field in Chicago. 72, the USSR and Iraq signed a friendship treaty. 73, Paper Moon film starring Ryan O'Neal and his daughter Tatum O'Neal, directed by Peter Bogdanovich, premiered in Hollywood, California. Tatum O'Neal became the youngest at age 10 to receive an Academy Award for the supporting actress role.
Yeah.
73, Netherlands recognized North Vietnam. That's an interesting...
Who did?
Netherlands.
Oh.
All the way over there. That's strange. Otto Kenner, former governor of Illinois, convicted for his role in an illegal racetrack scheme. 1974, San Diego Padres owner Ray Kroc addressed fans, "Ladies and gentlemen, I suffer with you. I've never seen such stupid baseball playing in my life." End quote.
That's the guy that owns McDonald's, right?
Yeah, well, he's a crock of shit. He's the guy who took McDonald's out from the McDonald's brothers. He robbed them of their own creation.
Well, he didn't rob them, but he screwed them.
He absolutely did. He totally screwed them.
He bought them out.
Yeah.
Now, where he screwed them is
Evil
they got
son
to
of a
keep
bitch.
their original deal, and that's where he screwed them. He opened up one across the street.
Yeah.
And undersold them less than cost. They couldn't survive.
Yeah. 75, 24 OPEC members signed an agreement to establish a $25 billion lending facility to provide assistance to industrial nations hurt by high oil prices. 75, we have the first appearance of the sports mascot, the San Diego Chicken, and that's what this guy is.
Yeah.
Now, it's telling me to image search this because, for whatever reason, when I was looking up, for images for thumbnails and everything, okay, you have this, these are all standard, he's up, he's active, but why do we have this calendar shot? I don't know. Why is he lounging? Is he trying to look sexy? What's going on? All of these images are all of him standing up and doing, and then you have here it is again, laying down. What the hell? It's so weird. 76, All the President's Men, directed by Alan J. Palka, based on the nonfiction book by journalists Carl Bernstein and Bob Woodward, detailing their Watergate investigation, starring Dustin Hoffman and Robert Redford, was released. Yeah. We also have U.S. and Russia agreed on size of nuclear tests for peaceful use. 365 days later, the Communist Party in Spain was allowed legally after 40 years. Bad move. 1978, Brewers sweep Orioles 11-3, 16-3, and 13-5, each with a grand slam. Wow. The Orioles got Orioled. 78 as well, in separate NBA games, Denver David Thompson scores 73 points, and San Antonio's George Gervin scored 63 points, 33 in the first quarter.
Wow.
That's impressive. 1980, Los Angeles Kings tied NHL record with 2 shorthanded playoff goals versus the New York Islanders. 80 as well, the Iraq regime with Saddam Hussein killed philosopher Muhammad Baqir al-Sadr and his sister Bint al-Huda after 3 days of torture.
Oh, geez.
Wow. Well, he was not a good guy. 81, Los Angeles Dodgers Fernando Valenzuela made MLB debut as opening day starter due to pitching staff injuries, defeating Astros 2-0, going on to win both Rookie of the Year and the Cy Young Awards. Yeah, great player. 81, U.S. Navy nuclear submarine USS George Washington. Now, this is the significance of utilizing multiple sources. This one says here, the nuclear submarine USS George Washington rammed Japanese freighter Nisso Maru, sinking the civilian ship in the South China Sea. That makes it sound like we attacked them.
Yeah.
Now, the other source says the U.S. Navy nuclear submarine USS George Washington accidentally collided with the Nisso Maru, a Japanese cargo ship, sinking it and killing 2 Japanese sailors. So
I think the second one's a little more accurate.
Yeah.
I don't know why they're... Yeah, you're right. That's horrible.
But, I mean, like, this source is leftist, so, they're probably trying to write the article to make it look like the U.S. is a psychopathic aggressor. Just out there wanton sinking ships and shit.
There's rams. All of a sudden, that's if you ram something, it's a sign of aggression. That's horrible.
Yeah. I mean, and, it makes no sense. 82, LA Lakers blocked 21 Denver shots, setting NBA regulation game record. 83, David Bowie's single Let's Dance became his first song to hit #1 in both the US and the UK. 1984, we have the 56 Academy Awards. Linda Hunt became the first person to win an Oscar for portraying a character of the opposite sex. Billy Kwan in The Year of Living Dangerously. 1982. 1984, Canada Health Act, the country's public-funded health insurance scheme, Medicare, passed by the Canadian House of Commons. Have you seen some of the videos of Canada's politics as of recently?
Not really.
I was watching Zeducation earlier, and some of their stuff is just so outrageously ridiculous. They come up and they're like, oh, I'd like to play a privilege card. I have my privilege card. Can people please stop waving their banners? Everybody's it's all some political thing, and they're like the sound of your paper banners in the wind. It's triggering my anxiety, and I really need this to be a safe, calm space so we can have a fair and balanced governmental blah blah blah. You're not gonna get shit done. You're just sitting there crying. Yeah. You pussy. 85, White Sox pitcher Tom Seaver started a record 15th opening day game. 86, the TV show Dallas announced it will revive killed Bobby Ewing character. All right.
Yeah.
87, for the third time, Wayne Gretzky scored 7 points, for 1 goal, 6 assists in a Stanley Cup game and passed Gene Bellevue as all-time playoff scoring champ. And, oh yeah, that's right, it was time there.
Oh, yeah.
88,
all right.
Yep, U.S. imposed economic sanctions on Panama. 89, Mike Tyson struck a parking attendant when asked to move his car. That's rude.
Especially from a guy that can kill you with one punch.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, that. I wonder if that could be considered an attack with a deadly weapon.
Of course, and it is.
Oh, yeah, I guess so. You're right. So it's not like you can go get your fists registered as deadly weapons.
They would consider that that's a deadly weapon. Yes.
Well, I'm not saying that they wouldn't. What I'm saying, there's this. I can't think of a word, the word for it, but this thing in in entertainment and stuff. I've seen it in The Simpsons, where somebody brags about registering their fists as deadly weapons.
Yeah.
That's not a thing. So. 89, MLB New York Yankees outfielder Ricky Henderson stole his 800th career base in a 4-3 loss to the Cleveland Indians. 89 as well, Washington, D.C. marched supporting 1973 Roe versus Wade decision to allow abortions. We also have the Tbilisi massacre, an anti-Soviet peaceful demonstration and hunger strike in Tbilisi demanding restoration of Georgian independence was dispersed by the Soviet army, resulting in 20 deaths and hundreds of injuries. What a great way to prove the demonstrators right. 90, Don McAlee signed a $19.7 million career 5-year contract extension with New York Yankees. I'm having a stroke or something, I think. 1990, world's largest bunny hop at Radio City Music Hall in New York City. The record was eclipsed later in 2007. Like, I'm gonna look to see if there's a video of that. Like, what is the largest bunny hop? So let's see if that's a thing. Well, I'm getting moon asteroid shit, so that's weird. Let's see if there's a picture. World's largest bunny hop. Alright, this isn't giving me anything. Anyway, 1990 as well, the Sahu Dini and Metis Comprehensive Land Claim Agreement was signed for 180,000 square kilometers, or 69,000 miles, in the Mackenzie Valley of the Western Arctic. 91, Georgia SSR voted to secede from the USSR. 92, Florida dropped race struggle snuggle charges against New York Mets, Gooden, Boston, and Coleman. John Major was elected Prime Minister of the United Kingdom after his Conservative Party won the most votes in British electoral history. 92 as well, record 18 golfers shot in 60 seconds in Masters Round 1. Old record was 12.
The Masters Open today.
92, U.S. federal court found Panamanian dictator Manuel Noriega guilty of 8 out of 10 drug and racketeering charges, sentencing him to 30 years in prison. 93, Colorado Rockies' first home game and first victory, 11-4 over Montreal Expos. 94, Rock for the Rainforest benefit concert was held at Carnegie Hall, New York City. Performers included Sting, Elton John, James Taylor, Whitney Houston, Luciano Pavarotti, Aaron Neville, Tammy Wynette, Branford Marsalis, and Larry Adler. 97, Cleveland Indians pitcher Jose Mesa was acquitted of struggle snuggle. So a lot of people being...
No kidding.
Yeah. Major League Soccer announced Miami and Chicago expansion. 1997 as well, NFL announced it will give $3 million to CFL and possible World Classic Bowl. 99, Ibrahim Barry Manasera, president of Niger, was assassinated at the airport in Niamey, Niger. 2002, funeral of Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother, the first Queen Elizabeth, at Westminster Abbey, UK. More than 1 million people lined the streets. I didn't know I was alive. This is Queen Elizabeth I. I thought she died well before me. So, I was alive during her reign? Oh my goodness. Okay, well that explains. She was born in 1900 and died in 2002 at the age of 101.
Yeah.
Wow.
And Prince Charles became king. Yeah, she was forever. Now, she didn't take reign when she was born, obviously.
Yeah. 2003, Iraq War. Baghdad fell to U.S. forces, ending the invasion of Iraq, resulting in widespread looting. Yep, that would cause it. 2009, mockumentary Parks and Recreation, starring Amy Poehler, Nick Offerman, and Aziz Ansari, debuted on NBC in the U.S. It's weird that they don't mention Chris Pratt, so even though his picture's up here, and they don't have Nick Offerman's photo up here either. He's the guy. Like, I see a lot of liberal propaganda being pushed in the way this article is being presented. 2009, in Tbilisi, Georgia, up to 60,000 people protest against the government of Mikhail Shalasky. 2012, The Lion King became the highest-grossing Broadway show, overtaking The Phantom of the Opera. 2013, 37 people were killed and 850 were injured after a magnitude 6.1 earthquake struck Iran. Yep. At least, it says here, at least 13 people were killed and another 3 injured after a man went on a... Oh, wait, that's something else. Something else entirely. I'm going to finish reading that article there. A shooting spree in Serbian village of Veliko Evanica.
Yikes.
That's wild. 2013, the French Senate approved a bill for same-sex marriage. And there's several articles, actually, about shooting. So it's not just the U.S. that has shootings. Mass shootings are all over the world.
Yep.
Like, and incidentally, pretty interestingly, although very fittingly, the highest mass shootings are in the areas with the strictest gun control. I wonder why.
Yeah.
Gee, I can't put my finger on it. 2014, Joel Embiid declared for the 2014 NBA draft, foregoing his final 3 years of college eligibility. 2014, Stuart Parkin was awarded the Millennium Technology Prize for his work on magnetic storage. That's wild to think that they use magnets for storage and everything. I gotta think of the physics of that. How do magnets work? And how do you make them work for storage? That's a whole other level.
I don't know.
A student stabbed 20 people at Franklin Regional High School in Murraysville, Pennsylvania. 2016, HBO premiered Liz Garbus's documentary, Nothing Left Unsaid, Gloria Vanderbilt and Anderson Cooper, a 2-hour film of conversations between the mother and her youngest son. That's cool. 2017, Twitter footage of a passenger being forcibly removed from United Airlines flight in Chicago after flight overbooked caused outrage. Yeah, these airliners, they routinely overbook, and if you show up and there's too many people, oh well.
Yeah.
They don't reimburse your ticket. You don't get any. They just say, oh well, screw you. You know, they don't even offer you to a seat on another flight.
They do.
No, they don't.
Okay.
Well, they might now, but from last time I heard anything, they did everything they could to just screw the customer. 2017, 2 Egyptian Coptic churches in Tanta and Alexandria were attacked by suicide bombers, leaving at least 44 people dead. Yikes. 2018, Fleetwood Mac announced new members Neil Finn and Mike Campbell after firing long-standing member Lindsey Buckingham. I wonder why they fired her. 2018, U.S. Senator...
He was the guy.
Oh.
Guitarist.
Oh, okay. Fired him.
Yeah.
With a name like Lindsay, might as well be named Sue and have a song named after you, a man named Sue. So, 2018, U.S. Senator Tammy Duckworth of Illinois became the first senator to give birth while in office. Like, was she, actively, in the office and it just came out?
I don't think so.
2019, 9 prominent Hong Kong pro-democracy protesters were found guilty on public nuisance charges for their part in 2014 Umbrella movement. Of course they were. China is the lead fascism in today's world. 2019, wolves have returned to the Netherlands after 140 years, claim ecologists. Well, they could have been lying about the whole thing the entire time. There could have been wolves there the whole time. We don't know. We're not physically there. So, 2020, Soyuz MS-16 was launched from the Baikonur Cosmodrome, carrying the Expedition 62 and 63 crew to the International Space Station. Now, how can you be from 2 expeditions on the same craft? That makes no sense. Unless, you have, 4 people and 2 are going to do this mission and 2 are going to do that, and then they come back at different times, or...
I don't know. I have no idea.
So, 2021, La Soufriere volcano began erupting on the Caribbean island of St. Vincent with a plume of ash 20,000 feet into the sky. Wow.
I think, they had to reroute...
yes, I remember
flights,
all that.
Public flights around it, because the jets couldn't go through it.
Well, every flight, public, private,
everybody,
military.
all flights, couldn't go into the area.
Yeah, because, all that stuff is going to cake in your jet intake, and, then you'll just fall.
Down.
Yeah. I remember that was a whole thing. There was that one up in the Netherlands or whatever, that Mount, whatever it's called. How they like to name their mountains. But you remember the what I'm talking about? Mount fucking every letter in the alphabet. So
I don't remember the name.
No. Well, it was. Well, not the name exactly, but you remember the event.
Yeah.
I remember it was because all of a sudden, and that affected all of Europe. Pretty much no flights could go in or out of the entirety of Europe for a month or so. It was crazy.
It was a long time. It was active for a while.
Yeah. 2021, San Diego Padres pitcher Joe Musgrove no-hit the Texas Rangers 3-0 at Globe Life Field, Arlington, Texas. 2021 as well, Uganda Opposition Party National Unity Platform Party, headed by Bobby Wine, claimed 623 people had been abducted and tortured by the government of President Yoweri Museveni. 2021 as well, Burmese military and security forces committed the Bago massacre, during which at least 82 civilians were killed. We have the Soyuz MS-18 was launched from the Baikonur Cosmodrome, carrying 3 members of the Expedition 64 crew to the International Space Station. So this time it was 1 crew this time. So, yeah.
Yeah.
2022, Joel Embiid was named the NBA scoring champion, averaging 30.6 points per game. That's pretty good. Hold up a second. Oh, wait, no, we're this guy. Okay. I thought we had a discrepancy here for a second there. In 2023, Joel Embiid again was named the NBA scoring champion for the second straight season, averaging 33.1 points per game. So he's going up. 2023 as well, Kuwaiti media outlet Kuwaiti News unveiled virtual news presenter on Twitter speaking Arabic using artificial intelligence. So now you have a straight up, now the newscasters, they don't have jobs. So, I mean, I keep trying to tell you, every single last physical job and every single last thinking job is all going to be replaced by AI and robotics. There's going to be zero anything for anybody in a few years, if even that long. 2024, a group of older Swiss women win a landmark climate change case at the European Court of Human Rights, ruling the women's rights have been violated by not fully addressing climate change. They're always the victims. They're always the victims.
I'm more worried about what court ruled that.
The Swiss. A group of
disappointing.
The European Court of Human Rights. Actually.
Oh, there you go.
So, yep.
That sounds like a great court.
2024, Arizona Supreme Court upheld a 1864 law banning all abortions except to save a woman's life. I mostly agree with that. If you are the victim of rape and you want an abortion, then by all means. But if you're just someone who's just hopping from pole to pole and you don't want to be held accountable, too bad. If you don't want a child, don't have sex. It's not that difficult. So
how about someone, you're either going to save the child or the mother?
Well, no, to save a life?
Huh?
To save a life, you mean?
Yeah.
I 100% agree with an abortion to save a life.
Well, you're saying also if you're raped. So I'm saying, are you agreeing with what they're saying there to save a mother?
Absolutely to save a life. No,
Not
if the
to
mother
save a life, to save a mother.
To save a life.
Okay.
What do you mean to save a mother? If you have an abortion, she's not a mother, is she?
What I'm saying is, to save the mother's life, you have to abort the child, or the mother will die.
Well, of course, then yes. Otherwise, the mother will die and the child will die anyway.
No, not necessarily.
Well, I don't know, whatever. But
okay.
But what I said here, a law banning all abortions except to save a woman's life. That's why I said I mostly agree with that.
Okay.
Because I want to add an amendment to that.
You're
also,
adding to it. Okay, I thought you were saying. Okay.
No, I'm adding to it. If you're a rape victim,
I gotcha.
So. 2024, James and Jennifer Crumley, the first parents held criminally responsible for a U.S. mass school shooting committed by their child, were sentenced to 10 to 15 years for manslaughter in Michigan. Yeah, hold the parents accountable. 100%. I'm all for that. 2024, Simon Harris became Ireland's youngest Tayo Sikh at 37 after the resignation of Leo Varadkar. No idea what the heck that is. And last but not least, U.S. President Donald Trump announced reversal on global tariffs, proposing a 90-day pause excluding China. And that shall conclude the show. Once again, you can check the underbar of the description below for any links that you may find interesting, including but unlimited to all things Omni Coalition. A lot of history has and continues to be made on a daily basis. We can only bring you a portion between two different sources. For the past 53 minutes, we've only covered about 60 some odd, maybe 70% of everything. So yeah, it's up to you to find the artifacts of our history, but only if each individual reaches out with and for open mindfulness, with a yearn to learn, to see outside what you think you know, to grow and find enlightenment. We have to find common ground with those who see their opinions differently from our own and find a better way to be better to one another. For your dose of passive insanely, we stream at 5 p.m. Pacific Time, 6 Mountain, 7 Central, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, respectively. Please check the underbar. For all of you and all of us, I'm A.O. Xander.
Golden Loon.
And you, viewer, you, thank you once again for coming in and joining us. Whether it was live or at some other point in the space-time continuum is irrelevant. A view is a view, and I'm looking to see if we have any comments. We do not. So until you catch us next time, whenever that is, wherever that is, don't forget to look right and left at every intersection, rate 5 thumbs, and subscribe. Toodles!